All right. So today we want to look at AutoCAD. AutoCAD is a computer-aided design software developed by Autodesk that allow engineers, architects, and designers to create precise 2D drawings and 3D models. It was first released in December 1982 and has since become the global standard for drafting and designing in construction, manufacturing, and engineering. Some key features of AutoCAD is that it is used for 2D drafting, 3D modeling. It also has precision tools. Take note that for the 2D drafting, it is used to create technical drawings, floor plans, and let me say systematic and exact dimensions. Okay, exactly. Please take note that AutoCAD was created in 1982 by John Walker, an American programmer and co-founder of Autodesk. He led a team of developers who built the software to make computer-aided design, that is a CAD, more accessible to architects, engineers, and designers worldwide. The founder, as I just told you, was John Walker. Okay, yes, and his duration on Earth was from 1949 to 2024, and he was a computer programmer and entrepreneur from Baltimore, Maryland. He was the founder of the company Autodesk and a group of programmers in 1982. Okay, the purpose, okay, was to democratize CAD technology. Okay, that is moving it from expensive mainframe system to affordable personal computers. The impact was that AutoCAD quickly became the industry standard for drafting and design, revolutionizing architecture, engineering, and construction. Good. Let's look at AutoCAD itself. Okay. Basically, there are three models of AutoCAD, and that is we have AutoCAD English US Imperial, we have AutoCAD English Global, we also have the AutoCAD um, English US Imperial. Okay, they are all used for architectural drawings. That's why you can see the architectural drawings throughout. But I want you to take note that for the US metric, okay, normally it is used for construction purposes. It is used for construction purposes. And also for the global, those ones, they don't normally have dimension. They are unitless. Okay, they are unitless. And also AutoCAD US Imperial. They are measured in feet and inches. Okay, they are measured in inch and inches. As I said, the AutoCAD Architecture 2022 English Global is flexible. Okay, that is, it can switch between metric and imperial. Okay, and for the metric, this is the metric, US metric. It is normally has measurements in millimeters, centimeters, and also meters. Okay. The default template for AutoCAD Architecture 2022 English US metric is that it is a metric-based drawing template. Okay. And for the English Global, it is a mixed template. Okay. And for AutoCAD US Imperial, it is an imperial template that is composed of architectural and engineering. Good. Good. Okay. So we are going to put our main focus on this. The one that I'm just drawing the green line around. Yes, exactly. And that is the AutoCAD English 2022 US metric. Okay. English 2022 US metric. That is the one we are going to focus on. So that is the one we are going to launch now. That is the one we are going to launch now. Good. So I'm just quickly going to launch this. Okay. As we wait for the app to open, let's quickly see if we can become more history. So AutoCAD metric, okay, the one we are focusing on, it was best for, let's say, project in countries using metric systems such as Ghana, Europe, Asia, and Africa. Okay, good. And also still the AutoCAD metric we have opened. Take note that one drawing unit is equal to 1 mm by default. Okay. That is the one we are using. So that is why we are focusing on that. Okay. So if you launch the software and it opens like this, you have to look at the top left corner. If you look at the top left corner, what can you see? You can see a capital A over there, okay, and a small a, and a drop-down menu just beneath it, where I'm using the mouse to play around, okay? So you click the drop-down menu, and you realize that a menu will pop up. So you still watch the top left corner, you can see that we have new over here, open and drawing utilities. Exactly. So you double click new and you realize that a menu will pop up. Okay. Click on content. When you click on content, select template. Okay. Then also you come and search for AutoCAD templates. Okay. After clicking the templates and it's open, come and click on AutoCAD templates. So you left click and then you come and search for ACAD ISO. ACAD ISO. So this is it over here. This is it over here. ACAD ISO.DWC. Good. So finally, we have been able to launch our software successfully. What is the first thing we should be able to do? Let's always try to customize our screen even before we begin our drawing. Okay. Yeah, so let's come and customize. This is our customization. So if you come to your customization, remember to turn on your coordinates. You see that when I click it, it's showed over here. Exactly. Also remember to turn on the model space, the grid, the snap mode. You can also choose to turn on the dynamic input, auto mode. Very, very, very important. The auto mode is very, very, very important. The polar tracking, and also you can choose to put on the object snap, the 2D, your line weight. Also very, very, very important. Okay. Yes. So it's dynamic. The ones that you prefer to do your drawing with, you can choose those ones. Yes, but for the basics, I'm going to select just some few ones for us to use. So I also selected selection cycling, and also I'm going to activate the annotation visibility, the auto scale, annotation scale, workspace switching, annotation monitor. You see that's I'm clicking it. Oh, this they are showing displaying over here. Exactly. I'm also activating the units as simple as ABC. Okay. So from here, what can we do? All right. You can just put on your auto. This is your auto mode. F8 can also activate it. So you see that it is off now. And they said restrict cursor orthogonally. So let me click it. Now you see that it is on. Exactly. This over here is called the snap cursor. Okay. Or let me say it's called the object snap. So the object snap can also be activated with F3. Okay, F3. So it is actually on, and when I click it again, you realize that it is off. So when I click it again, it is on now. Exactly. So let's test the other one. This is the grid mode F7. That is a shortcut for that. If I click this, you realize that our screen, all the grids disappeared. But when you click it again, the grids continue to show. Okay, exactly. Before we begin with our drawing, let's quickly set our limits. Then we come and talk about some one or two features, and we'll see how best we can be able to dive in. But basically, for beginners, our main focus is on, let's say, 2D drawing. Okay, so always remember to focus on home, insert, and annotate. Okay, that is for basics. Home, insert, and annotate. Those are for 2D drawings. For 2D drawings. Exactly. So I want to put off my grid mode. Okay. Exactly. I just put it off. So let's move to home. I'm back to home. Okay. So this tools over here, take a clear look at some of them. We are going to be playing with most of them very soon. Okay. So before we do anything, let's quickly set our limits. Okay. So let's set our limits. So the first thing you do is you type in your limits. Okay. So I'm typing limits. You see. So after I was done typing the limits, it displayed. Type in limits. So you see, in the course of me typing it, it's even displayed over here. So I just use the mouse to click it and I select the limits. Okay. Now always look at the command window. This is called the command window. This is called the command window. Good. In the command window, always whatever you are doing will be displayed over there. Okay, so always let your main focus be on that. So after activating the limit command, you realize that what can we see over here? You can see that they are saying we should specify lower left corner. Okay, so our lower left corner, we are going to punch in 0, 0. You see, then we press enter on the keyboard. Okay, now they say we should specify upper right corner. So now we are going to enter. We want to use a portrait paper. Okay, so our dimension we're going to consider in this case is 210,2970. Okay, we are adding another 0 to it because we want it to be quite large. So that is 2100, 2970. Okay. That is just the dimension of a simple A4 sheet. Okay. So I click enter. And then what are we supposed to do next? We click zoom. Enter. Then you press what? You enter A. You can press shift and A. You can use the capital A. Okay. Then you press enter. You realize that after doing that, what can we see? Let's repeat that again if it failed to display. So I type in zoom. In the course of me trying to type zoom, it's displayed over here, so I can use my mouse to click it. Okay, then I type in A, enter. After doing that, what can we notice? You realize that we can now see a green line and a red line over here. Okay, so this line is now serving as our reference point that we are going to be using for our drawing. Okay, after I activated the zoom command, my drawing was it's enlarged, okay? It's zoomed in, exactly. So take a look at something. I'm going to press Control 9 on the keyboard. And after pressing the Control 9, what are they saying? They said, do you want to close the command line window? I said yes. After doing that, you see that the command line window is off. You can go into the examination, you can meet some computers. When you go, you see that the command window is not there. Always remember this code, okay? That is the Control 9, so that if it is not there, you can quickly activate it. So I'm going to press Control 9, and you see that it is back again. Okay, how did we say we can set the limit? Let's set the limit one last more time again. We say first of all, we type in limit. That is LIMI. In the course of retyping it, it displays, so we can just select it from here. Okay, then first of all, we punch what? 0, 0, right? Enter. Then now they say we should specify upper right corner. So we can enter 2100, 2970. You see, enter. So what are we supposed to do now? We want to actually see the right area that we are drawing, the full size of the screen we are using. Okay, since it's a portrait, we want to zoom it. So we are going to enter zoom. See, then we select the zoom. Then we enter A. Now you see that after entering the a green line has displayed over here. Okay. If I drive my scroll backwards, you see that this is zooming to this side. Okay. You can right click to choose pan. When you choose pan, you can use the pan to drag this to this side. It's very, very, very nice. Okay, good. Now you can right click again to exit this. Exactly, exactly, exactly. So even before we continue, let's set our snap 10 units and our grid mode to 100 units. Okay, if you are looking for that, you can come to the control command and we type the snap over there. We choose it over here, and then that menu will be displayed. We can choose to enter it manually, or we use the command also. So let's escape this. You press escape on the keyboard, then it is gone. Exactly. So let's come and set that over here. Let's come to the snap setting. Okay, you see it over here. You are going to see that on this, that is the snap mode. You can either choose to put it on, or so let's put it on, and let's even go and set it now. Let's go to snap setting. That is, we say we want to put, or we want to set our snap to 10 units. Okay. 10 units and grid to 100 units each on X and Y. So this is the snap, okay, and then the grid. Let's set it to 100 units, and a grid on Y to 100 units. Okay. For the snap, it's already 10 already, 10, 10 already. You see, exactly. So let me click on this. Now I can click on OK. You see, after doing that, this has enlarged again. Exactly. Exactly. So from here, what do? We want to go and set layers. Okay. You can come and click the control command. When you come and bring your mouse over and you select, you click on the control command, enter layers. So type in layers, LAYER. So you see that it has highlighted over. You just come and select the first. This is it over here. So when you click the layers, the layer menu is going to display, and this is it that has displayed on the screen as we are all seeing now. Exactly. Exactly. Sometimes when it's lost, look at the left side of the screen. This is it that has displayed over here. Layer property. Okay. You can just click on this command and you see that it displays back again. Okay. take note that anytime you open a layer, always you're going to see two defaults. Okay. That is the 0 and then the depth point. Don't touch them. Always remember to create new layer for your drawings. Okay, exactly. So you are going to create some layers now, even before we begin our drawing. Okay, before anything, let's look at the basics. Let's look at the basics. And if the fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate will always expose you. Okay, so this is the new layer. And when you bring your mouse pointer on this, what are they saying? They say that new layer, that is, you can even use a shortcut as alternate plus N on the keyboard to get it. It is used to create a new layer. This list display a layer name, that is layer 1. The name is selected so that you can enter a new layer name immediately. The new layer inherits the property of the currently selected layer in the layer list. Okay, that is such as color or offstate and so on. Okay, yes, this is also new layer from standard. This is also new layer from VP frozen in all view off. This is delete layer. Okay, if you want to delete a layer, you can just press alternate D on the keyboard. It will delete. Anytime you are done setting your layers, remember to click this to activate it. You realize that when my mouse is on this, we can see that we are having a review of this set. The selected layer is the current layer. Objects that you create are drawn on the current layer system, into bracket layer system variable. Okay, so let's quickly set some new layers and then we move. We want to just design a single room with, let's say, a door and 2 windows. I think that would be cool for our lesson today. Yes, exactly. So let's set for wall, door, grids, dimension, test, and also some hidden lines as well. So I come to new, okay, then I click. So you realize that after doing this, the layer 1 has been highlighted. Okay, you can just click on backspace on your keyboard, and then you create for wall. So let's create for wall. I'm done creating for the wall. Okay. For precision purposes, you can choose to number them, but before that, let's see something. We are going to do some experiment now. So I'm going to press enter. Okay. Mm. Now I just created a layer for the wall. Let's create a different layer for window. So I'm still going to come to new. See, this is new layer. Then I click it. I left click. Then I backspace and I write window. Good. I'm done creating the layer for the window. Also, take note that these things that are highlighted over here, make sure you don't touch it. Okay, let it be that way. If you're not careful on offering some of these things, you will face a lot of challenges. So let it be as that way. You see that if I click this now, the color changes. If you click this one to the color, always maintain it as yellow like that. Okay, for safety reasons. Mhm. If you click the padlock to it will lock it. It means that it will not even, the effect will not even show. So you have to maintain it to all be yellow like that. Okay. So we created for wall window. Let's continue to create more. So in case you click this to create and accidentally you go and click somewhere and then the name maintain like this, how are you going to change the name? You just have to come and highlight it and then you right click. Okay, when you right click, you realize that so many options will be displayed. Okay, come and select rename. Okay, F2. That is the short code, F2. Then you just backspace and then you enter door. Now I want to enter door. So now I press enter. You see, so that is a layer I've set for the door. Let's continue to set more layers. Now we want to set for grid lines. Grid lines. Enter. Okay. Also, I want to set more layers for let me say dimensions. So let me enter my dimensions. enter. When you're done, remember to press enter. Also, let's do for test and then hidden line. Then we can now start changing colors. So let's do this for test. Enter, and then we are left with hidden line. So let's add one for hidden line. Hidden lines. Okay, then press enter. As simple as that. So now I want to change colors. Okay, my wall, I want the color of my wall. You see that this over here, this is the color, this is the line width, this is the line type, this is the line width, and this is the transparency. These are the descriptions that has been displayed over here. Don't be scared at all. Okay, it's just a software. This is also just like a blackboard that has been displayed and they are teaching you. Okay, so you just have to take time and focus on the screen. Take your time to read every bit of information and you realize that it's just English. Life is going to be much more easier. Okay, so let's change the color for the wall. So I'm going to bring my cursor to here and click the color for that of the wall. And then I'm going to change my color of the wall. Let's use white. Okay, even if you come here, you realize that some colors are here. You can even always get most of the colors on this where the mouse is moving. So I select white over here. You see, then enter. After doing that, you see that my color have changed to white. For the window too, I want to change my color to yellow. So I'm going to click here. Then you can see that the color over here has been highlighted as 140. I can clear it. Let's type window over there and see what will happen. Enter. They said that not a valid color known for that. Okay. So we can select the yellow over here. And then we are good to go. Okay. We are good to go. So let's also come and select that for door. And the door, we want to use a color such as green. So let's select green over here. Okay, we are good to go. And the grid line, let's use red. One more time again, let's try to type red over here and see if we'll get the color. Yes, this time it works. So you see that after typing that I had it. So how come with the yellow? Let's try that one last more time again. Let's intentionally change the color. Now let's go and change the color of the dot to yellow again. So I just type in yellow, enter. Okay, this time it worked. Exactly. So the dimension, let's change the color for the dimension. White. Let's use white. So I type in my white. Enter. Have white now. So the text, I want to use, let me see, I want to use pink, okay, or magenta. So let me use this color rather. And also the hidden line. The hidden line, let's use this color. Okay, so we are done setting the colors for all of them. Always take time to work them out one by one. Okay, let's come to the line width. Let's come to the line width. For the wall, the line is a continuous wall. Okay, it's a continuous one. And also for the door, our line should be a continuous one. Okay, for the window too, let's always maintain our line to be a continuous one. But let me say for the grid lines, we can change the color. Okay, let's change the color to center 2. Yes, let's change the color to center 2. So after clicking this, I press on OK. Then the dimensions, let's also maintain as a continuous line. For the test, let's also maintain it as continuous line. In the heading, let's also maintain it as a continuous line. Exactly. Now let's come to the line width of all of them. You see, don't touch the default one, that is the 0 and then the def point. The ones we created are just the ones we are focusing. So we are coming to set for we are done setting the line type. We are coming to now set the line width. Okay, the line width. And now come to set the line width for the wall, the text, and then all of them in the rest. Okay. So let's quickly set it. So first of all, I want to set for the wall. I want to set the line width for the wall. You said at the end of the day, when I was doing the numbering, I started with the wall, but in the course of me working, it has misplaced. You see, if I want it to be arranged in accordance, you have to number it. That is the experiment I was talking about initially. And when we are done, we'll come to that. So first of all, the line type for the wall. The line type for the wall, let's make the wall, the line, let me say that the line type for the wall is already a continuous mean. Now we're focusing on the line width. And the line width for the wall, let's use 0.06. Okay, or let's use 0.60. So this is it. Now I click OK. Okay, good. For the window, let's use a line width of 0.15. So I click it. I want to use a line width of 0.15. Okay. Also, for the door, I want to use a line width of 0.15. So this is the door. Line width of 0.15. Line width of 0.15. So because of the arrangement of this, we are not too happy. Let's try and change it. Okay. So let's come and rename this. Let's come and rename this. Rename this layer. We can begin. You can see home on the keyboard. Let's start with 2. Or if we like, we can still maintain the initial one. So you can press Ctrl Z, or you can still click on right click to just rename it back again if you don't like it. Okay, let's proceed. Let's also change the line width for grid line. Okay, the grid line. So the line width for the grid line, this is it. Let's use 0.05. This is a 0.05. So okay. See. And also which one again? For the test, let's use a line width of 0.30. This is the test. Let's use a line width of 0.30. So 0.30. See. And also for the hidden line, let's use a line width of 0.15. Hidden line, let's use a line width of 0.15. 0.15. Okay. So at the end of the day, you see that we have our standard values over here that we are coming to start our works with. We are coming to start our work with. Okay, so after doing all of this, what are we supposed to do next? We're just supposed to click on this set current. Okay, so we now click on this thing. That's now set. You understand? So I just set this to current here. So I want first of all, we want to start with a wall. So I click wall. I set the current layers. You understand? I come and click on auto hide. This menu over. The first one is close, and this one is auto hide. This is the setting. Okay. So let's just hide it. Now let's proceed with our drawing. Okay. So, but before anything, there is one thing I'm supposed to do. Let's go and set our dimension styles. Okay. Let's quickly go and set our dimension styles. So you can quickly punch, let's say, dim style on your keyboard. Okay, so this is it. Dim style. Once you begin to punch it to display, this is a dim style. So I click it. You see that this menu has popped up. Okay, this is a dimension style manager. Okay, so the current dimension style iOS 25. Over here, these are the styles. You can see that we have annotative, ISO 25, stairs, and then the standard. Okay. When you come to the right side tool, you can see set current, new, modify, and also a lot. Do you understand me? Override and compare. This is close and this is help. So as I said, this means that after you are done doing it, this set the style selected under style to current. Also, the current style is applied to dimensions you create. So after you are done, you have to click and then you set it as the current one. You understand me? So what are we supposed to do next? We are coming to create new one. Okay. So after clicking it, what can you see? They say create new dimension star. So we want to use our own dimension star. Okay. So first of all, what am I going to do? After clicking on that, you realize that this is highlighted. So I want to change this name. So I just click on backspace and I'm going to use a new model. Okay. So I want to use, let's say, Megabyte the physicist. So this is it, Megabyte the physicist. So that is Megabyte the physicist. Okay. So after I'm done, you see over here, I just, what am I going to do? I just click on continue, and then that is all. Now, after clicking on continue, you realize that the menu has displayed over here. So the first one we have, this is lines, this is symbols, this is text, this is fit, this is primary unit, this is the alternate unit, and also this is the tolerance. And these are some dimensions you're supposed to be able to set. Okay. The ability of your drawing to be able to show for your drawing to be able to conform with the smart standard, you have to be able to set all these dimensions also that at the end of the day, after your drawing, people will see well. Do you understand me? Or any professional that pick your drawing will know that no, you are really a learned person. You understand me? Exactly. So let's start from our lines. Okay. You realize that we are done setting layer, but these are all default layers. Okay. So we want to now set it to our own style. So the first one, you can see that this is the dimension line. And this is main focus on the lines, okay, how the line is going to be. So the color of the line, we want to just do it by layer because we are done setting layer. So I did this by layer, the line type by layer, all of this by layer, all of this by layer. Okay, so by layer. See. Secondly, what are we supposed to do next? Secondly, what are we supposed to do next? Good. You can see over here, extend beyond 6. So you can change that to 50. Okay. Also, let's change the balancing spacing. Let's change the baseline spacing to 50. So I'm changing the baseline spacing to 50. So I just change it to 50. Okay. Then I come to what? The color. I'm going to do this by layer. I'm also going to make the line type to be by layer, all of them. I'm going to make sure they are set by layer. Okay. All of them should be by layer. Exactly. When you're done, you come to the right side. And this is extend beyond dim line. So you click on this and you change it, okay, to 50. Good. Come and click on this. So this is the offset from origin. We change this to also 75. So this is 75. We change this to 75. What other thing are we supposed to do next? Now we can say that we are good to go. So let's continue. So when we are done doing this, the next thing we are supposed to do is we move to our symbols and arrows over here. You see, when I click it, it has highlighted. Then we also come and do some settings over here. This is the arrowheads of the symbols, and this is the symbols and arrows I have activated. Okay, so that we are done doing the lines. I'm now on symbols and arrows. So first of all, The first one, you click on this drop down menu, and you select dot small. Okay, where is dot small? Let's search for it. So this is it over here. Also, when you come to the second one, dot small is over there already. And then the third one, they also change that one to dot small. My default, this is the one we want to use. Okay, there are so many arrowheads. Okay, this is the one we want to use. Okay, we can choose just be flexible. Okay, and also the arrow size. The arrow size, we can change our arrow size to 50. Okay, we can change our arrow size to 50. The mark is already there, the center mark is already there. And also it's 2.5, we can maintain that. But the break size, this over here, we can change it to 50. Let's quickly change that to 50. After changing this to 50, what are we supposed to do? Let's come to the right side. You realize that whatever I'm doing over here, there are some changes going on inside this box. Exactly. So from here, the next thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to change this to this arc length symbol. I'm going to change it to come above the dimension test. And also the jog angle. You realize it's 45, so I maintain it. This is the linear jog dimension, jog height factor 1.5. We also maintain it that way. Now we are done with the line, and let's say we are also done with the symbol and arrows. Okay. So the next thing we are going to focus on is the test. So we come to the test. Good. In the test menu, first of all, we have to set this. This is already in the standard, and then this we change it to become by layer. Exactly. We change this to be by the layer. Also, the color fill is none. Okay. You can change the test height to be 75. You can change the test height to be 75. And also, take note, you see that we have test style over here. If you come over here, what can you see? This there is a three dots over here. And they are saying this display the test style dialog box where you can create or modify test style. Okay. That is the DIMS salty system variable. So after clicking on this, you realize that a menu has popped up. Okay. Yes. I don't want to leave any information behind, so I just have to quickly come back so that we can talk about it to enhance understanding. Exactly. Exactly. So as you can see over here, we have the annotative, the acdim, and also the Romans S, and then the standard. We are not touching any of them. Let's highlight the standard and let's see what is happening at our right hand side. Okay. So you realize that over here we have the font, and this is the font name. This is already in Arial, so we can maintain that. This we can make it bold, the font style. You can change it and make it bold italic. Bold italic. Okay. And the height 0.00, we can maintain that 0.000. We can maintain that. The size annotative is okay. The effects is also quite okay. Okay. The width factor is 1.00, and also the oblique angle is 0.00, which I think is also quite okay. So we can click on what? Set current to activate that. Okay, so we have now set it as current, and then as we are done setting it as our current, let's apply it. Let's set it as our current. Now we can close it. Okay, so let's continue with our settings. Exactly. So from here, you realize that we are still continuing. Okay. The factor height is still 1. And then this the vertical is above. This is centered. The horizontal is centered. The view direction is also left to right, which is okay. We can change the offset from dim light. Okay, we can change it to just 50. Okay, so I can highlight all of this and change it to 50. Okay, for precision purposes, please let's always let our drawing conform with this math standard. Okay, exactly. Now we are done with the test. Let's come to fit. Let's come to fit. Okay. In fit, it's not so many things we're going to do. This is the fit option. And we are saying that if there isn't enough room to place both text and arrows inside extension line, the first thing to move outside the extension line is, so we want to, first one is either text or arrow, base arrow, text, both text and arrow. So we want to activate, always keep text between exit lines. Okay, that is how we want it to be. Also, what other thing do we want to check? Let's look for the text replacement. So they are saying when text is not in the default position, place it. We want to place it over dimension line without leader. Okay, and that is cool. This when we come to the right side, you can see that we have a scale for drawing, scale for dimension features. Okay, and we are using overall scale, which is also cool. That is 1. And you realize that our fine turning that is draw dim line between edges lines activated, which is also cool. Well. From here, what do we do next? We are going to move to the primary unit and also activate some few buttons, okay, to make life easier. So we activate the prime units, you see. This is already in decimal, the precision. I change it to just 0. Okay, let's use a precision of 0 so that so many decimal points will not add. If you add so many, that you see that when I'm clicking this, is changing. So we want to use just 0 for the precision. Okay. So for the fraction format is horizontal, which is cool. Let's look at the decimal separator. Let's use period. So that is cool. Let's look at the round off. And then the round off is still 0, and that is cool. If we can maintain the prefix, we can maintain the suffix, and also this is one which is also quite cool. Exactly. Let's come to the right side. The angular dimensions. That is the first one where you can see the decimal degrees, and the precision is 0 as we activated, which is also quite cool. So there is not more work over here to do. We can maintain it this way so that it can conform with the smart standard. Exactly. So after we are done with our primary units, let's quickly go and activate our alternate units. Okay, let's quickly activate our alternate units too and see how history we can also become. Please don't forget to like, comment, and share for more. Also, don't forget to ask more questions in case you find any challenges, okay, related to the video. Okay, thank you. So with the alternate units, most of them are defaults, and there is not much work we are going to do over here. Okay, so let's say we just want to maintain it this way for our drawing purposes. And let's also check the tolerance. Let's check tolerance. So this is tolerance. Okay. The first one, this is, you can see that this is a tolerance format, and this is the default uh, display. Okay. So the first one is the none. This is precision. This is default. So this one too, we don't want to touch it. So you can see that for alternate unit and tolerance, we didn't touch any of them. Okay. We didn't touch any of them, which was quite good. Okay. Exactly. So when you are done like this, what do you do next? You just come and click on OK. Then you are done setting it. Okay. You see that this is still activated. You see that this is still activated. Then you click set current layer. That means that this is what I'm using to do my drawing. So now I can close it. Now we can just begin to make history. All right. So I said that we want to put our main focus on these tools. Okay, is the line. This is the line. Okay, and we are saying that this creates line segment. Okay, the line creates line segment. With lines, you can create a series of categories line segments. Each segment is a line object that can be edited separately. You see, so we're going to be using line more often. Okay, we have so many tools over here. This is also a rectangle. In the rectangle, it creates a rectangle polyline. Okay, it creates a rectangular polyline from specified angle parameters and all that. Okay, we also have a circle over here. You see the circle. The circle center or radius, it creates a circle using a center point and a radius. For example, that is what we are seeing over there. Okay. So anyone you want. This is hash tools. This is hash also over here. Okay. It is also used for so many things. Okay. It fills an enclosed area or selected object with a hatch pattern or fill. Okay, that is if you are doing drawing, if you want your concrete thickness to show in order. Let me click it and see the way to display. So you see this as an example of some patch tools over here. If you click this drop down menu, see that so many things will display over here. This is a break, you see. So if you want to select it, that is it. But I don't want to use this now, so I can just click on escape on the keyboard. Then everything is good. Click on escape, everything is gone. Okay. So first of all, let's also come and look at this over here. This is move. This is offset. Let's talk about just offset alone and then we proceed. Offset creates concentric circle, parallel lines, and parallel curves. Okay, you can offset an object at a specified distance or through a point. After you offset objects, you can trim and extend them as an efficient method to create drawing containing many parallel lines and curves. Okay, that is it for the offset. Okay, let's come to trim and let's see a little bit about trim and then we move on with our drawing. Okay, so let me click on the trim. So this is, if you click on the trim, you realize that trim menu display. Okay, so this is trim over here. This is the extend. Okay, what is the trim itself used for? Trim objects to meet edge or other objects. Okay, and the trim. To trim objects, select the object to be trimmed individually. Press and drag to start a freehand selection path, or pick two empty locations to specify a crossing fence. All objects automatically act as cutting edge. Selected object that can't be trimmed are deleted instead. Okay, so that is it. So let me click on this for it to go again. You see that whatever I'm doing, it has been highlighted in my command window. So I can just click escape on the keyboard. Okay. Or if you want to use the mouse, if you right click the mouse, after clicking escape, it was gone. So don't worry, we'll play with it next time again. So first of all, let's pick a line. So when I pick my line, you realize that my auto is activated and then my object snap is also activated. So I'm good to go. Always make sure these two things are activated. I don't want to use the grid for my drawing, so I can choose to remove it. So that when I click on this, all the grid disappeared. Okay. So for beginner reasons, let me still bring it back. You can still do the drawing with this in order. But don't worry, we'll play with it more often. So I have activated it. So I just pick my line. So after picking the line, I realize that it has activated on the screen. Take note that there is a drop-down menu over. If you click it, you are going to see that we have This is composed of a line, a polyline, construction line, spline, ray, and also 3D. But we want to focus on line, just line alone. Okay. So after you select the lines in the command window, you just left click any point on the screen as your starting point, and then you can move. Okay. So when I click like this, you see that when I click, you see what has been activated on the screen after I just left click. So I'm just going to move to the right side. You see that when I'm moving to the right side, so many numbers are displaying. Okay. I can choose to enter a figure, and then at the end of the day, that is going to be the length of my line. Okay, so let me enter, let's say 12,000. So I just entered 12,000. After entering 12,000, you see the dimension that I've displayed. So I can now zoom the screen. I can now zoom the screen. I can now zoom the screen. Okay. You can either scroll upwards or scroll downwards to zoom. Okay. So I'm just zooming to highlight it quite a bit. So after that, you bring your mouse downwards. Okay. You can still repeat the same dimension. So, but let's use 10,000 now. So I want to use 10,000. Okay. After entering 10,000, what do you realize? What do you realize? You realize that the value is too big. Okay. So I can choose to just click escape. After clicking escape, you see what has been displayed on the screen. So this is the line that I drew. And I don't want this line to be at this place. So what can I do? I just come and select it this way. Instead of when I select it, one part has been selected and one has not been selected. So what I'm going to do is that I can either use the blue screen, and blue screen is you just click any part of the screen and drag to the right, left corner. Okay, so right, when you go right, when you go to right, then you come to down again. Okay, then you click. Now all has been highlighted. So I can come to the move. When I click on move, I can click any point and then I can move it anywhere. You see that it is not able to just be flexible because the auto is activated. Once I click on auto, I can move it to anywhere I want to move it to. You see, now I've brought it to the top. Exactly. Exactly. So what do we want to do next? I want to trim part of the line that I have just drawn. Okay. So I can now just come and pick my trim over here. And then uh, this is it over. After putting the mouse on it, you see that it has, I just click and then it has trimmed. You see, I right click again and then I click on enter. Now it is missing in the command window. Okay. So I want to offset this line. I want to offset this line the same dimension. Okay. So I'm just going to click this line like this. Then after clicking this line, I click on offset. This is offset. You see, now look at the command window. They say specify distance or they say I should specify distance. So I'm just going to specify. So I come and click here, click the command inside the command window to specify the last end. So I want to use, let's say 12,000. So enter. You see the distance that has been offsetted. So after pressing the offset, if you move your mouse to the right side, the line can either come. If you move your mouse to the left side, it can either come here. Okay. So I want to bring it to the left side and click. Then if you go left click, it will release. So when I left click, it has released. This is what is happening over here. So I can just go and pick a line again and just intersect it, and then I'm good to go. You see. So we want to build just a single room. So I just click a line again. So I'm just going to cross it, or I can even start from one end. You see, but if this is not on, if this is not on, you can't pick from the corner. You see, it will not be precise. So you always have to make sure that this has to be, so it will always help you get the corner. Okay. You can drag from end to end. You see. But you see that the auto is not on, so the line is also misbehaving. So I can just escape, whatever I'm doing, click escape on the keyboard, and I come and activate the auto. You see, then now I pick the line again. Now I take the corner of that line and then I bring to the other corner, I click, I release. You see, then after doing that, click on escape to release the mouse. You see, you can go and take the tape measure over here. You see, and come easy to measure the dimension of the room. So you see, the horizontal wall is 1,200, and then the vertical wall is the horizontal wall is 12,000, okay, millimeters, and then the vertical wall is 10,000 millimeters. Okay, thank you. So I can just let me say right click, and then I press enter. It is gone. Then I offset that same distance back again. So this is offset. I'm just going to click on offset. Offset. You see. Then I'm supposed to specify offset distance. So I want to use 10,000. So I click over here. 10,000. Enter. So this is, I want to offset this line over here. So I've offset it to this side. I release it. You see what is happening over here? It has joined exactly. After zooming, you realize that it is still inside. So we are going to continue our drawing. So let me still bring the tape measure again, and you see the dimension. You see, so this is a house that we are just building. Okay, 12 by 10. Exactly. So let's proceed. Let me remove this quickly, and then we continue. So now I'm done drawing the outline, and now I want to draw the thickness of the wall. So I'm going to just pick the same offset again. You see, so the offset at the end of it is like your Visa card. You can, if you have that Visa card, you can travel to a lot of places. But if you don't have Visa card, you have a lot of work to do. You see the way the thing is. So after selecting the offsets, they say we should specify offset distance. Anytime you select offset, remember that you specify the distance before doing anything. So I just click over here and I specify the distance, 150. You see, enter. That is the thickness of the wall. Now they say I should select object to offset. So I'm going to select all of this. Then I offset inside. All of this I offset inside. All of this I'll offset inside. All of this I'll offset inside. You see, after doing all of this, I want to remove the offset from the command window. So I'm just going to right click on the mouse and then I press enter. It is gone. Now I'm going to trim all the edges and just maintain this part. Okay. Always remember that we draw from what? Left to right and then from down to top. Thank you. So I want to trim all the corners. So you see, I zoom this corner and I come and pick trim. Come over here. You see this. This is trim. You click the drop down menu and come and select trim. So I click an empty free space. I drag inward. I click to release the mouse. You trim all these places nicely. You come back, bring the mouse to that point and zoom. It will come for you. So I'm trimming all these places. So I'm trimming all these places. Exactly. I want to trim all these places. You see, but I said we don't want to trim these places. So what do? I'm just going to click on undo. Can you see undo over here? So when I click undo like once, you realize that all what we did has been undone again. So we are going to repeat the whole process again. Exactly. So we say we click here and pick the trim. Then let's now trim all the angles and maintain where we are going to put the door. Okay, so we can just trim the horizontal one and maintain the vertical one. You see. So this is our drawing now. Okay, so whatever I've done over here, because you see that it was the hot. If you come and click over here, it was the wall layer that I was using to draw. That is why that one hasn't activated. So that is still the one inside. I want to remove the trim from the command window. I right click and press enter. It's gone. So look at after, if I come and click this over here, the line width, this is the line width. Okay. If you click it, you realize that the thickness of the wall has not displaced Very well. You see the thickness of the wall. Um, that is how it has displaced. But that's not our main focus, okay? So let me remove it. And now let's start to draw our door before we even come back to that. So because it's door we are coming to draw now, I'm coming to activate the door. So this is the door over here. If you don't want to use here, you can still come in because you can see that this is still the layer property over here. Okay, so if you come and click on this arrow, auto hide, it will display. Then we select what? The door. This is door over here. So I'm going to select the door. Then I set it as the current layer. You see, set current layer. Exactly. So I can just hide it again and continue my drawing so that the door has been set as our current layer. And so I'm going to offset this line. So I click offset, then I select this line. You see, but I say anytime you click, we have to specify the distance. So the distance of the door is 900. So that is it, 900. That is 900 mm, 3 feet. So I press enter. So now they say I should select object to offset. This is the object I want to offset. I click it. I offset outward. You see. What else are we supposed to do? Now, after getting this distance of the wall, I want to now get the thickness of the wood. Okay. After not getting the distance of the door, I want to get the thickness of the, let me say, the thickness of the wood. Because you realize that every door has a wood. It could either be a frame or something like that. But let's say in this case, we want to consider a frame. So let me release this and now let me offset 150, fresh one. Okay, so I selected offset again. This is offset over here. So now I'm going to enter 50. That is the thickness of the wood. So 50. So I offset inside one. You see. Now, remember to offset this twice. Okay. So at the end of the day, you're going to have 3 lines. So you see, you have 1, 2, 3. They are all 50, 50, 50. Okay. For a particular reason, that is why I say we should do that. So because it's door we are doing, let's actually bring our main focus over. So I'm going to zoom here. Then I'm going to release the offset, and then I'm going to pick, let me say, the one frame is also going to be here, okay? So let's pick offset and bring another frame over here. So this is 50. So I'm offsetting 50, and I do the same thing over here too. So now we can draw the door. So I release the command, and now I pick a circle. See, this is a circle, okay? But if you click the drop down menu, you have so many types of circle, okay? We have circle with 2 points, circle with 3 points, and all that. But we just want to focus on a circle, okay? So when I selected circle, you can choose any point to be your origin, okay? So if I want to use the last one, assuming this guy was not on, okay, the object now, if it was not on, it may be difficult for you to locate most of these points, okay? But because it is on, that is why at the end of the day, we are able to perform much more. So always remember it is on. So we want to use here as our origin. So once I continue to copy, you see what is happening. So this is once you keep dragging and you see endpoint or intersection, then you know that that is it. Okay. But we can even take it back to basis. Before we do anything else, we can also take it back to basis. Before anything else, we can also take it back to base. So let me just undo. Have a look at something. I'm just going to take my tape measure now. You see the thickness of the wood I told you, 50, 50. Inside here is what? 750, right? So I can release the tape measure. I right click. Now I bring my pointer to enter, then I left click. It's gone. I pick a circle again. When I pick a circle, when I click this point of intersection, I just move the mouse pointer left to more, then I can just enter. I can press backspace to remove the 340 inside there. You see, then I'm going to enter 750. Enter to get it exactly. You see, so you can be dynamic to make you much more uh, creative. So let's quickly trim some points and then we are good to go. So I'm going to pick the trim. I pick my trim. Uh, let's trim this part. Now, after trimming this part, what else can we trim? We can just trim all the top. It's not needed. You can trim this one over here too. It's not needed. You see. So we can also trim this off. And then now I can release the trim. I can just come and select this line like this. If I select this line, then I click delete on the screen. You see that it is gone. This is the delete. Or let me say erase. Okay, after selecting erase, it was gone. Let me quickly undo and do that for you again. What did I do? I came to what? Click on erase and see a pencil with an eraser. Then I just come and highlight that part or just come and click it. Then it is gone. When I select the object, I press enter on the keyboard. It is gone. Okay. So now that I have erased, you see that our door, we are still forming a door. We are still in the trimming processes. So I still select the trim. I'm going to trim this. And you see, and I trim this also again. You see, so I'm going to trim this spare one. We say that the dimension we selected for our door is 900. Okay, so let's quickly come in. Use a tape measure to measure it one last more time again. Now this is 800. It is true. The 50/50 is the dimension of the wood. Okay, so that is why it is 100. 100 minus 900 minus 100, you're going to get 800. So you see that we are still getting the size of our door. Let me quickly release this command. And now we want to match the property because we said that our door is green. Okay, since our door is green, we have to make sure that. So we click on match properties. This is it, match properties. And then when I selected the match property, what I say, they say we should select source object. So I select on this line. Now we say we should select destination object. So I can click some of these people to match the properties. Yeah. But you realize that some of them, if we want to actually work with them, we may actually affect others. Okay, which means that there is something that we are supposed to do. There is something that we are supposed to do. So let me quickly show you something. We can cut this and later come and replace it. There are so many options. Okay. Okay. So, but before that, we are done with the door. This line over here, we can either, there are so many properties over here. Come and look at this property. After selecting the line, what can you see? Come and look at, have a look at this property over here. This is a bring to front. So I can choose to bring it to front. You see, I can choose to bring it to front and try the match property one more time again. If it is still affecting everybody, then we try the other one too. Better still, we can choose to trim these places for a moment. Look at, you can choose to trim here, and you can also choose to trim this side. Now you can release the command and match the properties. So I click this. Now I match property to this. I match that property to this. I match that property to this. Exactly. What do I do next? These are the wood components. Okay. So enter, I release that. Now I can extend this guy. You see, so this is the extend over here. If you come and click this command, this is extend. So when I click on extend, I can click on it to extend, but you realize that it is actually the wood that's going to touch the wall. So I want to extend these people rather. Okay, so it's actually the wood that wants to touch the wall. So as beautiful as that, we are done drawing. the door. Let me release this command, enter. So you see, let me click on line width. You see how it has displays as the door. So let's quickly come and draw. Let's quickly come and draw our window too. Let's quickly come and draw our window. So let's start from the top part. Let's pick the pan to drag our screen down. This is the pan. And then when we bring the screen down, now we can start. So I exit. Okay. You can see that I just turned off this. So let me turn off the line width. And then now let's pick a tape measure to do something before. In the case of you looking for something and you're not seeing it, you can also type it in the command. Okay. So this is the tape measure. Okay. So as you can see, now the internal dimension is 11,700. 11,700. Now we want to fix a window inside this room. We want to fix a window inside this room. So which dimension can we consider? Okay, first of all, let's divide this 11,100 into what? 3. So 11,100, let's divide it into 3. So 11,700, right? Divided into 3, we are going to get 3,900, right? So now we can escape this command. We can escape this command or enter. Then we can now pick offset and offset twice. So now because it is, let's say, the window we are coming to draw, let's come back to our layer property and then come and activate the window. So you see I've activated the window. Then I click on hot set current layer. Now it has set. So I can hide it again. Then we are good to go. So I just, because the offset command is already inside, or we say this is the offset. When I click on it, when I left click on it, you come and hide, bring your mouse, your pointer to the command window and click to enter your distance. So we can enter the 3900, enter. Okay, now they say we should select object to offset. So I can select this, offset inside. I can also select this, offset inside. Okay. So that is what I want us to use for our window, the dimension I want us to use. I can select this offset this way. I can also select this line and offset it inward this way. Okay. Okay. But before that, let me undo whatever I just did and let's quickly do that one last more time again. The distance that we were left with was what? 11,700. So we just want to divide it into 3 to get the size of our window, as simple as that. So when we click on the offset, after our division, we had 3,900. So this is 3,900. You see, enter. Then we offset twice. We offset twice, you see. But we want this line to extend. Okay, so what do we do? So we remove this command and come and activate the extend command. This is it inside over here. So we extend this line to here. We extend this line to here. Now we can come and trim the rows. You see, so let's quickly trim the rows. I just click here and drag over here. All will be trimmed off. See, so this is the distance we want to use for the window. Let's quickly measure this distance or interval, and then okay. So let's release this. So let's measure this quickly. You can come inside the command window, and when you begin to type, you see that this will display. Yes, the two will display. So this distance is 3,900. Let's divide 3,900 by 3. So 3,900 divided by 3, what are you going to get? You're getting 1,300. Okay. I'm getting 1,300. Okay, exactly. Or better still, like I'm getting 1,300. So let's offset that. About let's offset that. So let's offset that. So we want our window to be big as this. So 1,300. Or we can even choose to divide it into four. So let's say our answer we had initially was 3,900. Let's divide it by four. If you divide it by four, we're going to get uh okay. So that is also okay. So you're going to offset four times. Okay, so the offset you're going to use over here is what? 325. Enter. Then we can offset this. Offset this. It is too small. Okay, this offset is too small. The windows are going to be very, very small. So let's escape this escape on the keyboard. And let's use the other offset. So 3,900 divided by 3. Yes, let's use 1,300. So let's click on offset and let's use 1,300. Enter. So we offset this line inside. Good. We offset it again since it is of the same, or we can choose the outer one. Offset inward. Exactly. So now we can enter the thickness of our wood. Okay. So let's remove this command. You can still right click and come in and come to what? Recent input and select the offset from here. And I want to just offset 50/50 for wood. Okay, so first of all, let's do end to end 50 for this wood. So you come and offset 50 for this wood too. Okay. For the internal ones, for accuracy reason, let's offset 25/25. Okay. So let's remove this, enter, then we can just still come to what? Recent input, we select offset, or you can even click repeat offset. So this time I want to use 25. See, so I'm going to offset this inward this way. I'm going to offset inward this way. Here, I do the same thing. And I do the same thing also over here. The only thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to trim the rest. See, so I'm just going to remove this. Just going to remove the middle ones. Let's quickly take a tape measure to measure this one last more thing again before we proceed. Okay, so this is the tape measure over here. So you see, this is let's say 1,225. This is 1,250. And then this is okay. So this is just quite okay. Let's maintain this window size. Okay. So now we can remove it. Since we don't have any standard drawing we are doing, we are only assuming. Let's maintain this window size. Okay. So from here, what do we do next? What do we do next? So you see that the 50/50 are the thickness of the wood. Okay. Yes, this is a very big window. So that at the end of the day, the people who are going to use the room can have enough air. Okay, so let's trim the other sides. Let's trim these sides. So we can trim this side. You see it's so nice. Then we can also trim this side. So nice. So I'm going to remove this. And now I can just match property. See. So I can just match property. See. Exactly over here. So I select match property and apply it to everybody. I can just do, let's say, I can use blue screen and you realize that blue screen also highlights, green screen also highlights most of them. You see, so after doing this, I can release it to match property and it is gone. The only thing I have to do is extend the other lines and I'm good to go. This is how I extend over here. So you see, these are the woods that are touching the wall. So I extend these lines and life is so much more easier. You see the window I created over here. There is no need. I could copy this window and put it somewhere in use, but you realize that It's all a different dimension altogether. We could create a new window now, or assuming you want to cut and put it over here. There is a way to do that, but we will not use it. But let's just try and copy this window somewhere and you see the process. So this is enter. So if I want to copy this and put it somewhere, look at this is the copy command. Copy. Now when I click on copy, it's actually select object. You see, this is the, but if you don't know how to select this object, you may mistake yourself or something. So I'm going to use green screen. Green screen is uh right to from right to left, then you go top. So right, I click on empty screen and I move to what? Left. When I move to left, then I can now move upward. You see, just to highlight just the window features alone. Mm. You see, the ones that are not highlighted, you can click on them to highlight them all. Then I can now copy it. Let's select it one last more time again. As we were saying, you see that I'm done selecting. So what do? I just press enter on the keyboard. Then now I can specify a base point. Okay, so I want to use, I can zoom to use one part as my base point. I'm using here as my base point. Anywhere. So you can see where I've picked as my base point. So I can even copy this and put it here. It's not able to be flexible because the auto is on. When I release the auto, I can put it anywhere. So I can choose to put one here, I can choose to put one here, I can choose to put one here. You see, that is the behavior of that. So I can just right click and press enter, it is gone. Exactly. Exactly. Let's quickly measure this part and also offset. Yes. So that at the end of the day, we can face this window too, and then we proceed. So let's bring our tape measure. This is what, let's say 9,700. Okay. 9,700. So 9,700 divided by 3. We're going to get 32.33. Okay. So let's see if we can offset by that amount, or if we don't like that amount and we still want to maintain the same window size. Now what are we going to do? Let's subtract that amount from this figure and see. 9,700 minus 1,300. And you realize that we're going to get 840. So if that is the case, let's offset 840 twice. So let's remove this command. Because the reason why I'm saying that is that let's come and measure the window and see something. See the window, it is the full length of the window is 3,900. Okay. Mm. So the 3,900 divided by 3. 3,900 divided by 3. We're going to get 1,300. So the same thing we did over, we have to transfer the same knowledge over here. Okay, so at the end of the day, this full length is 9,700. And our 9,700 minus 1,300, you're going to get 8,400. You see, so let me just remove this command and offset that amount twice. So I click offset, and then I'm going to specify the distance 8,400. Enter. So I offset this inward. I offset this one to inward. Okay. We can choose to undo and repeat it one last more time again. So when we select our offset, we can now specify our distance 8,400. Or let's say 8,400. Let's divide it by 2. So 8,400 divided by 2, what are you going to get? You're going to get 4,200. So let's rather use 4,200. 4,200. So we are using 4,200. You realize that our drawing is quite misbehaving. So we can use the pan now. Let's release this command and use the pan to bring it back. So I'm shifting it backwards to see, so that we can have our initial drawing sheet. So I'm now going to pick my offset again. Say 4,200. So that is 4,200. Okay. So now I'm bringing this back again, 4,200. Let's quickly try and measure this dimension and see the answer we are going to get. And this is 1,300. This is 1,300. Okay. If that is the case, then let's rather offset 1,300 twice. Okay, so let's repeat that one last more time again. Okay. So 1,300. Okay. Or better still. So let's try the 1,300 and see what's up. Let's try the 1,300 and see what's happening. So at the end of the day, that is if we want to use this after so many offsets. See, we didn't use a perfect square, so we may face so many challenges like this. But let's not be lost. Let's just use the same dimension and divide it by 2. Okay. Mm. So let's use its same dimension. And the dimension for this was all right. So let's quickly just use the same dimension. Let's divide it to 3 and then we proceed. So this distance is 9,700. Okay, so 9,700 divided by 3, we're going to get 32.33. Okay, so let's quickly remove this command and let's pick that. So that is offset, and then the dimension we're going to specify is 32, 3,233. Okay. Um, So we can, if we still want to maintain the same decimal places we are seeing on the calculator, then we can choose it. So how many 3 came? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exactly. Then enter. So we can offset this that number of times, and then that is it. Okay. So we can now extend these lines. Let me escape this, and then we use the extend command. So this is the extend over here. This is extend. If you come to this, you see extend. So we extend these 2 lines. We extend these 2 lines. Then now we can trim it. Let's trim it. Come and pick trim over here. We trim the 2. So we let our main focus be on here since we are still drawing window. Now let me remove this. Okay. Then let me offset 50/50 so that we can focus on our window. So I still come and select the offset. Then I press 50. Enter. So this is a 50. They say yes, so we are done entering the 50. I'm sure, I'm sure. So I select this, I enter, I select this, I also what? Enter. Um, Okay. But even before our wall thickness, even before the thickness of our door, let's quickly find the division for these doors. Okay, so let's remove this command and then let's quickly. So the length of this is what? The full length of this is 3233.333. Okay, so let's just remove it. After removing this, I divided this into three. I had what? 1077.777. So let's quickly offset. So I click on offset and then I'm coming to now specify my offset distance. So I'm going to enter 1077.77777. How many seven do we have? After doing that in a calculator. So the last one, let's just run it and then let's press enter. So I'm just going to offset that a number of times. So I offset this over here and then also I offset this over. Okay. So what are we going to do next? I'm just going to look for the thickness of the door. Okay. So let me remove this offset. Let me repeat offset again. And then from there, I can specify the thickness of the wood. They say you should specify offset distance, so 50 for door. Yes, enter like this. Let's specify for this. Exactly. Exactly. So for the thickness of the wood. And the other one, remember what I told you. Let's remove this. Let's repeat offset. And then we are now going to use a distance of 25. So the inner ones, if we had a distance we are supposed to use, we would have been using that. So do that very, very fastly. And after that, we trim the inner ones. You see, so let me remove this offset. Let me pick trim. So this is the trim. I trim this part. I trim the inner one. Simple as that. For our door purposes, let's also trim here for the main time. Later we are going to extend. Let's also come and trim here. Later we are going to extend. So I can exit this. I can do something called windowing or crossing. Okay. Then if I highlight this, I can just come and activate the layer property from the layer property. Whatever I've activated, this is it. When I click on this is back, I click on I activate the window. Okay, then I set it as what? Current layer. Okay, good. Also, you can just highlight the property of this. Okay, then you come to match property, apply it to this also, and life is much more easier. Life becomes much more easier. So from this, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to extend. We're going to extend. So I just right click and bring my cursor to enter. I left click to release the command, and I'm going to now extend. So anytime this one will affect you, so you can just press escape on your keyboard and it's gone. Okay. So I'm going to select extend from this menu and then I extend these lines as simple as that. Extend this lines as simple as that. Extend this lines as simple. See whatever is happening. If I want to put this window over here, if I want to put the same window, one of the same window over here, I'm actually going to do just extend this line. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to extend this line. Okay, or as a matter of fact, if I click here, you see that I can just click the last part and then continue to drag it. But I realize that auto is not on. I can activate the auto so that the line can be more accurate. If I increase it a bit, I can right click to what? deselect, or now nothing has been deselected. Then I can now highlight my extend to extend the line. So you see, I want to put my window over there. So this is what extend. So I'm just going out, extend this one. If it fails to extend, we can drag it. Okay, look at something that is going to happen. We can drag it. So I click the same line, I click on the far end and drag it to make sure that it cross the other one. Okay, now I can click on escape on the keyboard and trim the unwanted parts. So I'm just going to select trim. You see that after selecting trim, what I wanted, I've got it. So I trim here too. I'm going to do the same thing to the other part. Okay. Yeah, so I'm going to select this line. Let me come to recent input and click on extend to see if I can extend this one. If it fails to extend, let's select the line itself. Let's click on the last end and let's drag it. Let's drag it to the other end and release it. From here, what can we do next? You just have to, you can right click on your mouse and then come to what? Deselect and left click is gone. Come and choose your trim. After choosing your trim, you come and hold trim this off. Later, you can also trim this off. Okay. Offset your distance of 150, 150, and you realize that you can come and cut your bend and put it over. But before that, let's release this command. We can trim the inner one, but before that, let's offset the wall thickness of 50 feet, the door thickness of 50, 50. So this is 50, enter. So I'm going to do for both sides. This is 50. This is also 50. So let me exit this. Let me pick the trim and trim the inner parts and see what is going to happen just now. So I just trim here. Also, I just trim here. So the next thing I'm just going to do is I remove this command. I'm going to highlight all of this. I'm using the green screen and then I press delete. It's gone. See, some portions are still left. I can click them and delete them or erase them. They are gone. I can only come and copy this window over here and come and put it over there. There is no need to go and draw another window again. But first of all, I need to highlight the whole window. See, and make sure all the parts are highlighted. And now I can select a base point. This part is not highlighted, so I make sure it's highlighted. Let me check the other part. This part is also not highlighted and make sure it's highlighted. So now I can click what copy. You see now they say I should specify base point. So I want my base point to be this part. You see. So I just selected a base point and then I'm going to put it at the other side. Now I'm going to put it at the other side. You see. I'm going to put it at the other side. Exactly as it is. So now I can remove it. I can just press on enter and then it's gone. So that is it. At the end of the day, I can only extend the lines and then the life become much more easier. If I'm not too happy with the adjustment, I can adjust it better. Okay, so let's move this. Let's move this to suit whatever we are doing. So you see the move command. Let's do this one last more time again. We have to move it so that at the end of the day it can fit whatever we are doing. Okay. By the lines, So you see, basically we are done with the drawing, but we just want to. So I guess as part of copying whatever we were copying, maybe we didn't copy too well, so it made us to look some features, but it's also cool. Okay, so let's move this white wall. So I think for now it has fit. Okay, so let's do some couple of editings and we are good to go. Let me just release this command. Let's do some couple of editings. Okay, so let's just extend this to people. AutoCAD is very, very flexible, so don't get scared if you find yourself beating about the bush. So I just going to trim up these unnecessary parts and then we are good to go. Um, so that is why I'm trimming these parts. You can see that is why I'm also trimming these parts. Simple as that. I can come and extend the rest of the lines and life becomes much more easy. So you see what is happening over here. So that is it. So you are done drawing a simple one with doors. Okay, if I click on the line width, if I click on the line width, let me remove. Okay, now it's gone. So if I click on the line width, see that it has been displayed as this. Uh, it has been displayed as this. It has been displayed as this. All right. All right. So let's move back to our layers and see what other thing we are supposed to do or we can be able to do over here. So let's say we want to add grid lines. Okay. Let's say we want to add grid lines to our drawing. How are we going to add grid lines to this drawing? So I just activated a grid line. But first of all, let me turn off this code. So I want to work with a grid line, and I just said I just activated it. So I want to offset this wall to me. Let's say 75, since the thickness is 150. Okay, so 75. So I'm going to click offset and then offset. I specify my distance 75, enter. If I click on this, I offset inward. The only thing I'm going to do now is that I'm going to extend the line. See, so I can extend this line. Better still, I can stretch it. Better still, I can stretch it. If it fails to extend, I can stretch it. You see, um, I can hold this side and stretch it to the other side. I can hold that side and stretch it to the other side. See. So that is it. If the auto is not on, it may misbehave. But before that, I'm coming. So since the auto was not, it is trying to misbehave. So let's quickly adjust it so that it can be like how it was initially. Okay, so this is the line over here. Let's quickly do the same thing. Let's try to bring this line to front and see whether it can run through. So you can see me extending it. You can see me extending it at a 0 degrees angle. I'm still extending it at a 0 degrees angle. Make sure it doesn't deflect by any angle. So let's see if we can extend it now. Let's use this command to extend it. Quick. In some places, it fails to extend. So you see, small, we are making progress. So let's extend it here a bit. And then from there, we can repeat extend. It still fails. Let's use the manual way. Click and then we continue to drag. So we're almost done. Or better still, we can just pick offset 75, enter. And then you offset this line inward. So at the end of the day, we can come and extend. If it still fails, you can just use the manual way, and that is it. Okay, so that is it. So you can just press the select and then it is accurate. So the whole thickness of the room, since we suffered initially, now we are going to just apply techniques and we are good. The whole thickness of the room was what? 11,700. Okay, so we're just going to add 75 to that. Okay, so we are going to offset this distance. So let me press escape. So let's say 11,700, okay, plus 75 is equal to what? See, that is what we're going to do. So let me escape this command, click on my offset, and this is the value. We are supposed to specify the offset distance, okay? So that is 1175, 11775, 11775, so enter. So I just click on the object to offset. Okay, so let's say we are supposed to add 150 rather. Okay, so let's escape and do it one last more time again. Plus 150. Plus 150. So in this case, our offset is now going to become, in this case, our offset is now going to become 11857. And that is nice that it falls in the middle exactly. So we can just maintain that offset throughout to offset the other ones too. So now that we are done, we just do the same thing for the other side. Okay, so this over here, we offset. And we are almost done. We can quickly extend these lines to a bit. We can just extend them a bit. We can extend these lines to a bit. Then that is it. So that is it. That is it. So we can extend this line a bit. Extend this line a bit. So that is it. What else are we supposed to do? For the meantime, since we are not using these people, let's just cut them off. So I just delete them and they are gone. So let's quickly get a offset for this other dimension too, and let's proceed. So let's offset 150. If the whole dimension is 12,000, let's get the first one. So this over here, let's offset inward. So I'm done selecting, so I've clicked the offset. This is it. After offset, let's specify distance, and let's use the distance of 75. Okay. If we like, we can use a distance of 450 for something reason. Look at something. Then we offset this one. Now we can extend it from here. Now let's escape. Let's extend it from here the fast, simple way. Extend. So let's extend this. Let's extend this way. This could be the one of the fastest way. So after extending this quite a while now, I'm just pressing enter. Then I come and click this, the line itself, to just increase the length a bit. Exactly. I just want to increase the length of the line a bit. Exactly. Then now I can offset backwards as what? Check the distance. Let's use tape measure. If this is 300, so 300 plus 75. 300 plus 75. What are we going to get? We're going to get 375. So now our offset should be in that range. So offset of what? 375. Enter. So in this case, you just click and it is inside. You see. So you can now just come and clean this line that is outside. Then we are good to go. But before that, before dimension reasons, let's offset that line also about 5,000. Okay. So let's use this and then let's repeat offset. Now let's repeat offset of, let's say, 5,000, or say just 3,000. Let's do an offset of, let's say, 3,000. So I think that will be cool. Let's do an offset for 3,000. We can reduce the offset to just 2,000. So we have just limited the offset to 2,000. Okay. So let's just exit it. So I've just exited. I'm done selecting this. Let me erase it. See that after erasing it is gone. So that is it. Let me still increase this line a bit. For some reasons, I'll be doing some trimming very soon, so life is still easier. So this line we are going to add, if this is 12,000, 12,000 plus 150 to get the offset straightforward. Okay, so this is, let's say, escape. Okay. So I click on the line itself. Now I click on offset. So specify offset distance is going to be what? Let's do that together. 12,000 plus 150. That is 13,000. Or let me say 1,350. So 1,350. When you press enter, now you have the offset distance. Okay. No, let's quickly point that. So that is 12,000. Okay. Plus 150. Are going to get, let's say, 12150. This is how we're supposed to get, right? So that after the offset, so let's offset this inward. As a matter of fact, let's redo the offset again. Offset. So we say we select offset. Then we specify the distance 12150. Enter. So we click this. Then we offset. So you realize that it's. But what is the distance between this? This is what? 9,700. Okay. So 9,700 plus 9,700 plus 150. So let's do it that way. 9,700 plus 150. You're going to get 9850. Okay, so let's escape and use our offset. So let's offset that distance. So we are going to specify the distance 9850. Enter. When you click on the object, you offset, you realize that now it falls in exact. Okay, yes. What are we trying to do? Okay, so as part of whatever we were doing, we can check the distance of this offset and bring it over here. So this was 155. Okay, so let's say over here too, we can do the same thing. 1550 plus 75. We're going to get 1625. Okay, so let's pick offset. Let's offset the same distance. So 1625. Okay. So I click this, then I do this. That is it. So let's extend these lines a little bit. I want to extend this into overlap with this just for a purpose. Now we are good to go. I believe we are good to go. So we can just trim some unnecessary parts. And then it's left with the other side too. Let's do for the other sides quickly. And then so this is I pick this line. And then we are offsetting 1625. So that is it. Okay, so I can just quickly extend this line. Extend. I can extend this one too. At the end of the day, what do I want to do? I could just pick my trim and remove the ones that I don't really need. Okay, so um I don't really need these ones. So I can trim them off. Or I can go and take a circle. Okay. And then the circle, I put the circle on the um, so I'm going to take a circle, then put a circle over there. Also take note that the circle, if you don't like it this way, you can do it the other way around. Okay. You can pick a circle from here. You can pick a circle, or you can just even do the circle somewhere. If you are good with the dimension, and then you just copy. It's a matter of copy and paste. Then you select a base point, then it's a matter of not copy and paste. If you don't like it that way too, you can use a different method. In the copy, you select a base point, then it is also easy that way. When you see endpoint, you release the mouse. You see, so I can trim these unnecessary parts I don't like. So you see that because of the trim is on, that is why it is affecting this. What can I do next? I can only match properties. I can trim this part too, then start trimming properties. So escape, look at, now I can match this property to this match property. So I can match this property, match this property, and match these properties. You see what is happening in here? I can match these properties. Quick one. You can quickly match these properties. So that is what is happening, and that is what is happening. So let me just quickly pick the pan to drag this down, and then let's Proceed. Okay. So I'm done matching the properties. Let's fix the other ones. Let me highlight this and then copy. Okay, so let me remove the auto so that it can be more flexible. Okay, so let me select another endpoint so that, well, if you don't select the right endpoint, it will not fit well. So our endpoint we should have been focusing on was this side. Maybe that's really this one to realize that the side has changed again. So I have to come and highlight this again. And the endpoint, uh, I specify this part as my base point, then I put it nice. See, now I can trim the unnecessary parts. But before that, let me come and fix here too. I have to trim the parts. So let me quickly trim those parts so that it can come and fit well. Mm. So after highlighting this, I click on copy. They say I should specify base point. I want to use this side. So that is it. That is it. You have to now press escape on the keyboard. And highlight it one last more time again. Then I can copy. Now copy. So I can put this to over here. Endpoint. So as simple as that. Enter. So I can now trim the unwanted parts. See, I now trim the unwanted parts. Mm. So please don't let I'm now trimming the unwanted parts as you can see. We are not done. It's left with a few. So I want to trim this part off even before I go and bring the other one. So let's quickly copy that. So this is the store copy. I select the top to my point and come and put it over. Mm. So this can now come. I put this also over. So I escape the command. Now let me trim the unwanted part. I don't like here, so I just trim the, you see. Mm. I can even trim the main one too. If I want to move this, it's just a matter of highlighting it. Okay, so let me use the green screen to highlight all, and then I can come to home, click on move. I can just select a base point. Okay, then I can move a drawing to just a part a bit far from that. Then we can now draw. So it's not anything scary. So now we are about to put in a test. So this is the test over here. We want to put in one add test. Okay. So let's type in. Maybe you want to type in one. So enter. So we want to type in one. So I'm done typing the one. So the one I want to bold it. I don't want to be italics. I want it to be bold. What else again? That is it. Can we see it? You see that it cannot be seen. So we can highlight it or we can re-edit it. See, um, can re-edit it. So we can re-edit it and even increase this. Okay, so let's increase this. We can increase this to, let's say, 150. So we can increase it to 150. We can make certain adjustments at this part. Also choose to make certain adjustments at this side. You can also choose to make certain adjustments at this side. So that is it. So here we say we wanted to maintain 150. So you see enter, then it comes big. Okay, so it's kind of big now. So if we are still not in content today, we can still increase it. Let's say we want to make it 180. 180 is also quite, it's also not bad. It is missing. Okay. So but what we are entering is just one. Okay, so that is it. So you see. So we can now just go and put it inside. Mhm. If we are still not content with the distance, we just have to increase it. So we come to M-test edit. Maybe you want to use, let's say, 230. You just have to highlight it over here. And then we can now point to edit. Good. So after punching this, you see that it looks a big. You can now put it and then you can now move it. So you can now move it. So let's come to move. And you can put it inside the box over here. You see as it is over there. Mm. We can justify it well over here. So it's just a matter of editing, okay? So if you are still not content with the size, you can increase it anyhow you want to be flexible. Just be creative. That is all. So you can even use 260 and see how big it can become. But first of all, you need to highlight this. So that is Control A. I highlighted all. Now I choose this 260 to see how it will just be displayed. See, so that is this of 260. You can also just copy this and put it inside all of it. So you see, copy it inside all of them. Then later, you can just come and do editing. It's just a matter of editing. Later, it's just a matter of editing. Later, it's just a matter of editing. So now we are done. So let's come and do the editing. So this is going to be hot. This is going to be 2. See, so this is actually 2. Hmm. And now for this part here, we want to use A. Okay. So this is, let's say, this is A. Um, if here is A, then you realize that here is also A. Exactly. So it's the same thing we are doing. If you want to activate the grid, this is it. You you can still activate the grid to do your drawing with the grid. Anyone, don't be scared at all. So this is going to be B. This is going to be B. Then this one too, where we can change it to 2. That is it. The last but not the least, we say we want to change it to A. Um, so that is it. That is it. So you see that we are done setting our grid lines. And we are done setting our grid lines. So this is for a ground floor plan. That is how we basically are going to go about it. Okay. So that is it. This is it for the ground floor plan. In our next lecture video, you'll see how we can throw more light on the, let's say, foundation. Yeah, okay. You'll see how we can throw more light on the foundation. If you want to draw a borderline around this, it is just a matter of anyhow you want to do it. Okay. There's so many engineers and how they will choose to draw their borderline around their drawings. Okay. And but you can just choose to maintain one and then you are good to go. Assuming maybe we also want to consider to draw a borderline for our working. Assuming we also want to draw a borderline for whatever we're doing, then it means that first of all, we have to construct a rectangle around our drawing. First of all, we have to construct a rectangle around the drawing. So I'm going to pick a line. Okay, so uh, the borderline, which one do you want us to use? For the test, look at the test that we were doing. All the tests should have been pink. Okay, so let's quickly change that. Let's quickly change that. Let's quickly change the test. Let's quickly change the test to pink. And then now I can click match property. So after clicking match property, first of all, let's click match property. Then you can highlight this to affect everyone. So the test, you know that is what we are doing for the test. Using the green screen because it is highlighting it even more faster for me than ever. See that green screen is always powerful. For blue screen, it always highlights a few. I just made a little bit of mistake. Okay, so let me just redo. I have a solution to that, the mistake I just did. So let me just quickly highlight this alone and let me match its property with this. Then later, I think we're on a more safer side. So you see how our test has become. So if you want to write ground floor plan, it's just a matter of this. Okay, so first of all, we can just bring a rectangle here, or we can just still copy the A. And then we copy the A, select the base point, and then bring the A over here. So we can just write inside ground floor plan, you see, escape. So we just edit the A, and then we come here, ground floor plan. So this is a ground floor plan. You see, exactly. So that is it in the drawing over there. If you want to draw a border line, you can just pick any of these lines to draw a border line. Okay. Any of these lines. But let's do the dimensions now. So I just click on the dimensions. So we come to let's say annotate. Okay, so we come and click on this. This is the linear dimension. Okay. This is a linear dimension. So let's come and apply the linear dimension. So I just selected the linear dimension. I want to specify some distance. I want to specify my distance. Then see that we have our units over here. Get the units of this line. As simple as that. Let's also do for this two. Let's also do for this two. Let's also do for this two. So before this, quickly, quickly. Now you can just put it over here like this. Yeah, the dimension for this guy has also been displaced. Exactly, exactly, exactly. So let's go back to home and see. Now we are done. We play with the door. We set. We've already played with the uh grid lines, the hidden lines. We are done with the text. We are done with the walls. Okay, so let's quickly uh draw the let's say let's draw the title block. Okay, let's draw the title block and let's wrap up for the day. Let's see if we can set a layer for the title block quickly before we proceed. Okay, so let's come to this layer and set a layer for the title block. So let's add a layer for title block, title block. Okay. Now, if this is a title block, then the color let's use blue. Okay, and then let's let it be a continuous line. The thickness, the line width, let's use 0.30. Let's use 0.30 for the line width. Mhm. Let's let it be a continuous line. So the title block is what we've set as our current layer. Now, let me quickly draw this for you. Okay, let's draw the title block. Quickly. And then life is going to be much more easier. Okay. So let me quickly shift this drawing up small. Let me quickly shift this drawing up small. So this is it. Now I still come home. Move. This is a move over here as you can see. So you can just select any way to be a base move. Let's highlight the whole of this and let's move it. Okay. So let's quickly draw a border line. Let's wrap up for the day. So the title block has been highlighted. So I pick a line. Okay. I pick a line. So, but first of all, my auto has to be activated. Then when I pick a line, I can just construct a borderline around this so nicely. And then so that uh, my drawing can be a bit more accurate. So escape. So I'm just going to extend these two lines, and that is all. So I'm coming to my recent input just to look for extend. Then I just extended it. So I'm now going to take trim. I trim this side. So I'm just going to offset some certain dimensions to proceed. So enter recent input. I want offset. So offset, this is it. So I want to offset a distance of, let's say, 3,000 or 4,000. If the distance is not okay, I can still change it to them. So let's say 5,000. If it is still not okay, we can increase it. Better still, you can even choose to trim this ones off if you don't like it. You see how flexible this is. So let's offset now. Let's quickly offset a distance of, let's say, 7,000, or even if you like, you can offset 8,000. Okay, we can even change it within to what? 9,000. You see. So we can, let's just maintain this. Then we can now create a different one for our remark. It's still a matter of offset. So let's just maintain a distance like 3,000. So I want to offset this 3,000. You see, then I can just come and trim this unnecessary part. It is gone. See, so I'm going to write remark over it. So let's still continue with our offset. So I'm going to enter 6,000. I'm only assuming, okay? Yes. So you have to be artistic anyhow you want to do it. If I'm still not intent, I can still continue to do a different one. Let's say I can do 9,000. If I'm okay with it, then I can clean the first one. I can just select this one and then I clean it. This one. So I can do further divisions from here. So this one over here, I can just offset it. So let's say I click offset, and then the offset, I'm going to maintain a distance of, let's say, 4,000. So this is my offset of 4,000. Yes, I can also choose to add an offset of this time. I can just also maintain the 4,000. I can bring an offset of, let's say, 2,000. It's also accepted. If you don't like it, it can also be cleaned. So that is it. That is it. So let's just start entering some one or two field names to avoid beating about the bush and also for the purpose of time. So I'm just going to copy this over here. Copy. Specify base point. I specify a base point. Let me remove this auto to enhance flexibility. So I just brought this over here. Escape. So what am I going to put over here? Remark. Edit. So I'm just going to clean all of this. Delete, 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 and delete, delete, and put remark. Remarks. Remarks. That's the remarks. If what else? You're coming to clients. Clients in location. Clients and location. So it's just flexible that way. Let's click offset. So offset, and let's enter a distance of, let's say, 1,000. If it's not too much, you can increase this 3,000. If it is not okay to, it can still be increased. So we can just maintain even 4,000. After this, how did you realize? I can just trim some parts and then life is much more easier. So let me just trim some parts because I realize I'll need some somewhere and some of them will not be needed at all. So it's just the title block I'm still putting. So that is it. That is it. That is it. So as much as you wish to create this over here, I can still copy it and come and put it over here. You see, they say I should specify base point. So it's just a matter of me copying. So I can put over here to type in the location. I can put over here, type in the client's name. See, I also want to add the drawing title and put it over here. So for anyhow you want to do it, it's just flexible that way. Let's edit this one. Let's edit this one. So this one we can put the clients over there. So that is the client over there. And over here we can edit this. Edit this. In the course of editing this, we can put location. So you see the location. What else can we put? The drawing title. Drawing title. You see the drawing title. So you can now choose to add the date, the time, and all that. So let's quickly do some little bit of offsets. In life is going to become much more easier. So I just pick my offset and enter a distance of 3,000. So I can enter this to here. Where is the distance of 3,000? So I can let's maintain an offset of 2,000 again. So let's just maintain 2,000. So I think that will be quite okay. That will be quite okay. So from here we can say that. Let me quickly trim this for certain reason. I'll bring it back again. Okay, so let me just trim this for a reason. Now I want to offset a distance of, let's say, 4,000. So I want to offset this to here. So it's flexible that I can now go and extend. So I can extend it back again. You see. So escape. I escape that. So the name, I can just come and click this, copy it, specify a base point, and then I bring it here. Anyone I want to write, I want to just add a date and then the scale. Okay. I want to add a date and then the scale. Better still, if you can add a drawing number, I'll be very grateful. Okay, so let's copy so many things so that at the end of the day we can add so many features. So let me just escape. So let me pick a line now. And then let me pick a line. I realize that auto is not on. That is why we face that challenge. I realize that auto is not on. So I just click the auto again. I realize our auto is not on. I just activated it. That is the auto. Then I put in another one last night, and then I realized after this the editing can flow. So I trimmed the unnecessary parts. So the names, you can just change the names. So the date, let's change this to date. Edit, we can put what over the date. We can put dates over here. And also we can put scale inside this box. We can put scale inside this box. I can deselect all, then still select this one again, and edit this one alone. So this is it. Scale. So this is the scale, okay. And then we can put our checked over here. We can put our checked over here. To the checked. So that is it. And then what other information can we add? Which other information? We can add a drawing number. Okay, so let's add a drawing number. So drawing number, drawing number, the drawing number. Okay, that is it. That is it. Where is it? So you just have to fill in all of this column, and then that is just the right to okay. So for the title block there, anyhow you choose to do it, anyhow. Remember to save the work every 2 to 3 minutes when you are working with AutoCAD, because if you are not saving the work, you face a lot of challenge. You see, because I've not created any folder and saved it in it. That is why it is behaving that way. Okay. So on this note, my name still remains Megabyte the physicist. Yes. Don't forget to see me in groups, in person, and also in one-on-one in case you encounter any challenges, okay, related to whatever we have learned. Yes, related to whatever we have learned. Don't forget to see me in person in groups one-on-one in case you find any challenges related to whatever we have learned. Mhm. So that is it. That is it for AutoCAD. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for your time. You go with your pleasure. Bye bye.